Hello, I'm back outside. It took me a week, I think, because I lost momentum. I stopped doing videos outside. But I think I conquered that fear because, I did 3 videos, 2 of them sitting here and one walking around. So I think that's fine. So it's time for a completely different fear, or I don't know if it's a fear, but apparently I've been told that it might be. And so I did another personality test called objective personality. And in that system, I am not an INTJ. I knew that before I sent it to them, but I'm still surprised by the new result. Um, and that is largely because the definitions are different compared to Myers-Briggs Land. But there are also elements that I haven't seen in myself in this conscious way before, and that actually point towards me also not fitting into this INTJ narrative. Um, it's obvious. When there are only 16 types, you will never fully resonate with one of them. You will tell yourself that you fully resonate with it, but it's not true. And at the beginning, I resonated with it a lot, but there was always this question of, the big feeling side. And well, apparently that's not true, according to this other system where this these feelings are basically a problem. Although that's also again a definition problem, because feelings in that system mean basically my relationship to the tribe. And what came up was that my relationship with the tribe is complicated. And I can see that to a degree. Not fully yet, though, at least not how it was mentioned. So, one of the things that was described was that whenever there's a topic where feelings are involved, or relationships, or people, then I would cut it short. And I want to now talk about that and see what it is that comes up. So why do I cut it short? The reasons I came up with were I don't want to just if I start on this feeling stuff, then it's hard to stop. That could be like describing like a grip experience, but I want to give the full context. And I did a video before where I wanted to talk about the most traumatic thing in my life so far, and that was in 2014. But what I did is I started in 2010 when it all started, and just wanted to give an overview of how it started. And that would take like an hour alone. So I will try now to focus on the 2014 breakup and see what it is. What is my language like? Is it actually feeling, or do I like evade the feeling side and just factually describe everything? I don't know. Um, so I will try in 3 sentences. So in 2010, I fell in love out of nowhere, basically on an exchange with my journalism school. We met journalism students in Russia, and I fell in love. I won't, now I would love to just tell how this all happened, but who cares? I fell in love, and it basically, what developed was a dreamland fantasy. And I would say that was similar for both of us, although obviously I can't speak for her. but I can just imagine to be her. And yeah, well, so what happened? It's so hard to just, and I think that's the reason why I cut it short. The reason I cut it short was, if I get started, it will be an hour-long video. So how do I manage to do that? I want to give context because I did some really horrible things to her. And if I don't explain why, then it will look like as if I'm a crazy person. Well, maybe I am, but yeah, that's basically the reason. But that's already interesting, because if it will make me look like a crazy person, that seems to bother me. Obviously, but that would bother everyone, no? Is that the problem with the feeling side? So yeah, what I noticed is I'm not good at processing feelings or showing feelings with people that are not my girlfriend. And often it makes me feel icky when I should like be in the moment with someone. Although it depends, one-on-one is fine, but in groups especially. But yeah, it would be close to impossible to tell a group of 3 or 4 people what happened with this Russian relationship. Would be very difficult, because if I tell it, I want to tell it fully, and if I start telling it fully, then there's so many elements coming into it that it will literally take 3 hours to talk about this crazy relationship. But maybe that's the way to go. Maybe I should just record a video where I tell the whole story. I mean, I wrote a fictionalized story about this, about the first week, no, actually longer, about the first 3 times we met. So that was a week in Russia, a week in Germany, and a week in the Ukraine. No, not a week, 3 or 4 days. And I just switched perspectives. So first I talk about, you get again, I'm in 2010 again. I can't do it. I cannot talk about relationships or my relationship with people without giving hours of context. But what does that tell me? So why is it so important for me that people know the whole story? I don't know. Okay, let's try. I will get a time limit of 5 minutes to tell this. It's impossible. I can't do it. I cannot tell this crazy thing in 5 minutes. It would have to be 3 hours. Like this short story, I don't know, was it 20 pages or 30 pages about our 3 meetings? Oh, but I mean, that's already good. But what does that say about me? That doesn't really say that this romance has changed my life. It really has. So it's very important to give the full story. Well, I could try just by saying, so I think in the video I sent to these guys, I talked about, well, it was in one of my videos, I don't know. So in 2014, I had this breakup, I did really bad things, and that shocked me. Peterson talks about that, like when you recognize the evil inside yourself, that's a traumatic experience. And yeah, I spent, I don't know, 2 months just with this. I was basically just functioning outside. Luckily it wasn't busy at work. So I just spent time with this evil within myself. And the reason why I had to ultimately go out and hurt her psychologically was because I couldn't live with this evil inside. I had to find a release valve to just get it out. And if I describe in detail what I did, then I need to give the whole context. Because ultimately, I did bad things, but I did them for a reason. I really did them because I was deeply hurting. And when I ultimately apologized to her, she said that she should apologize first. So that already shows, although the things I did in the end were worse than what she did, it all started because she lied to me. Yeah. So, yeah, I think the conclusion is I need to find time to just tell the whole story, and that will take 2 hours or something like that. But the interesting thing is, why is it so important to me that I tell the full story? That could be a reputation thing, actually. So maybe my reputation is more important for me than I think it is. I mean, I watched some of my videos again, and I always say, I don't care what people think of me. And I really think that, but maybe that's just protection. Maybe that is just me protecting myself from admitting that I don't want people to think of me as a bad person. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, ultimately I didn't tell any of the details again, right? I just said the same factual stuff again. Break up, I go crazy. Yes, and then the next step was that I found Myers-Briggs, and that was very helpful because it explained a lot of things to me. And yeah, I did a few tests. It was close between INTJ and INTP, but INTP didn't make sense because when I looked at the cognitive functions relatively quickly after, then INTP didn't make sense and INTJ did. And I can't remember exactly anymore now. I partially used it as to justify what I did. Maybe even maybe I even saw it before I did the bad thing. Oh, I can't remember. Might be. But anyway, so I'm really thankful that she treated me like shit, because that these 2 months of me just being with my evil side, that was very revealing. That was so revealing and probably growth inducing, because, well, for the first time in my life, I didn't know if I make it through this crazy time. And I don't mean that I wanted to I was thinking about killing myself or something like that. What I mean is that I just felt hopeless. I remember writing to her about this hope and how it was destroyed by her stupid behavior. and that this I saw this hope as a house, and that house came crashing down, and I needed to make sure that it's so destroyed that I couldn't go back there anymore. And well, I think I accomplished that, because when I went back last year and tried to reach out to her again, because after 3 years, I think I finally managed to forgive her. She wasn't able to do the same. And there's still a part of me that feels good about that. That's crazy, isn't it? I see that evil side in myself that feels, oh, you're still hurting because of what I did. Good. But from the things I know now, what I should have done back then is just asking her what is wrong, because people don't treat other people badly intentionally. People treat other people badly because it doesn't show the relationship to me, it shows the relationship she had to herself back then, and maybe still has. But I didn't understand that at the time. I thought she was intentionally hurting me, and there were a few things that pointed towards it. And yeah, I thought she was intentionally hurting me, and that is what actually made me go crazy. And that links to Peterson again and what he talks about with tragedy versus evil. If you people can deal with tragedy because it's terrible, but it's nothing that could be avoided. But people can't deal with the malevolence of human hearts and minds, because that could be avoided. And the malevolence of her, what I thought was her malevolence towards me, I couldn't live with that. I needed that revenge. I needed that revenge. And yeah, maybe that's out of any cognitive function. I thought it's tertiary FI. She crossed a line. My values were just deeply invaded. And I had to fight back to defend myself. Yeah, I see that as tertiary FI, but maybe it was just on another logical level of principle. Don't know. If I was really an NI dominant, then shouldn't I have been able to understand how she treated me like that? No. Well, the key thing is that I misjudged her intentions, I think. Well, I understand it more now because I also understand more about her from doing MBTI tests, but well, that in and on itself doesn't explain everything. But I mean, she did it because she was shy and didn't know how to tell me, and I wasn't able, even though I pondered 4 weeks if I want to lash out. I did that very consciously. So why is it difficult to tell the story? Because A, it takes a long time to tell it, and I didn't tell it in detail yet. I should probably do that because I somehow found a way to use this stuff in an anti-fragile way. I found this evil inside of me, but that only made me stronger. Um, yeah, and I don't regret it, because if I was in the same situation, I didn't have the knowledge that I had. Like, it took me a year to realize all this. And I think, I could have spoken about this like earlier than 4 years after this, but certainly not a year after. Peterson says such things like that, it can take up to 18 months. So you shouldn't try and relive this. I relived it like the first year. I relived it every day, but you shouldn't things things from the past that are older than 18 months and still bother you. You haven't integrated them. Funnily enough, I think it was about 18 months until I really integrated this shit. So yeah, what was the first point why I didn't talk about it was it takes a long time. Then B, it makes me vulnerable, and that is actually a thing for IJs. So why would I tell that just to a YouTube audience? Why would I tell that to people? Why? I remember I told it one of my Cologne friends, and he was like, "Wow, Klaus, that's shocking." Yeah, and he didn't understand it. He didn't understand it. And I wasn't even like, I thought, whatever, yeah, I'm a bad person now or what? Yeah, no. Well, yes, but also no. I just finally connected to the evil side in me. And people who don't admit that they have this, they are missing out on a significant part of themselves. So yeah, and I think I talked to someone about it last year, and I was saying like I'm so thankful to her that she did this to me, but that's obviously bullshit. I'm not thankful that she did it to me. I'm thankful that I made something out of it, and that is, I think, the key thing. If you can find this attitude to life where you can use the traumatic events in your life, or your weaknesses, if you look at them, well, I don't know if you can actually consciously go there or if it's just a question of character. But if you use the things that traumatize you, or if you don't run away from them, that's probably it. Because I remember people were worried about me at the time, and I was telling them, leave me the fuck alone. And that links again to me not being able to process feelings with others. I need to process them myself first. I need to be with them. I need to sit with them. I need to listen to 10 hours of sad songs for 2 months. That's what I did. And then you come out of that. I mean, this sounds too much like the hero's journey now. I don't know if it was, but I didn't know about this stuff at the time. But so yeah, it's A, third time. A, it takes a long time to explain. B, I don't want to process this stuff with people. I need to process it with myself. That's the most, I don't know if efficient is the right word, but that's how it works for me. I need to go through that on my own. People can't help me with this. I mean, they could. And for most people, they need someone where they can process it with. I don't. But maybe that's a limiting belief. No, people just, they, most people just can't deal with that reminds me of another video. Most people, when they see someone who is sad, they can't deal with the sadness within themselves. So to be with someone who is sad and just be with them without feeling sorry for them is very difficult. I'm good at that, I think. Too good, because people then think I'm like a cold, emotionless bastard or something. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that was already, I mean, I talked a bit more about all this, but I think I need to do a chronological. Yeah, but why do I think that? I, I want to talk about the romance as well, because one of the things I thought was that I also had to just get rid of all these great things that happened between this Russian girl and me, but I don't. I mean, I wanted to, but you can't. You can't just rewrite history. You can't forget about the good stuff just because bad stuff happened. And that's what Peterson describes with order and chaos. And I mean, yes, this was difficult because it was me in relationship to a tribe member, but it was also just, it put me in a state of absolute chaos, because not only I projected so many things into the future with her, that was gone. Then what was also gone was the past, because what do I know? Maybe that was all just a plot. I mean, I don't think that anymore, but that's the things you ask yourself in the moment. Was it all a plot? Which of the things she did were real? Like the romantic quotes she sent me. Was it real? Did she even mean it when she said she loved the playlist I sent her? I mean, there was lots of cute romantic stuff going on, but I still haven't even I still haven't though talked about how it all really happened, because I wanted to go meet her in Russia again. So it was on and off, and then I wrote her a message and it started again. And I said, "Oh, I can come to Russia and visit you." And she said, "Oh, great." And then she said, "Oh, by the way, I'm in Germany," like a few weeks before. And she knew I was living in London, so there was no chance really that I could meet her. And that's where it all started, because I noticed that there was a piece of information missing she wasn't talking about. And I asked her again and again and again, "Who are you going there with? Or who are you meeting there?" And she didn't answer the question. She stopped answering. And then I took it in my own hands and investigated. And yeah. And then she went on this holiday with her boyfriend. She didn't tell me she has a boyfriend. Great stuff. And then I just stopped communicating. And then she posted it on her Russian Facebook thingy and made me see it, because she didn't have the strength to tell me. She didn't have the strength to tell me that she has a boyfriend and that she would meet him. And she thought she could still meet me. And we wrote some messages again where it was obvious what the point of meeting again was. So she knew that I wouldn't come to Russia if I know that she has a boyfriend. She knew that. But she didn't have the strength to tell me. And when she noticed that I stopped communicating, she posted it on her wall to just let me know. That's evil stuff. I mean, I still don't know if that's how things unfolded. And I don't really, I mean, I made sense of it myself, but um, yeah, I describe it very factually though. It's interesting because inside it feels very different. Yeah, I guess, well, part of the factual statements is also that it's in the past. How I can't relive these feelings. I mean, I could, but I don't want to anymore. I've done that. I've done that so often. So I wouldn't even know how to talk about that in a really feely way, I guess. So maybe that tells me something about all this feeling stuff. Maybe I'm not that good at it. I'm just good at it when I process these myself. Okay, well, yeah, I think that's enough for now.